It was the day when I stopped asking God to follow me and I began to follow Him instead. In my third year of undergrad studies, I had a financial situation that prevented me from continuing my education. I had maxed out all my scholarships. I worked as much as I could while being in school, but the remaining tuition bill was still too high for me to register for the next quarter. So I prayed, and I prayed, and one day I was called into the financial office and was told to actually register for the next quarter because someone had taken care of the bill. I was definitely surprised and amazed, specifically at how God works, and He answered my prayer in ways that I didn't expect. The crazy thing is that this financial thing happened multiple times, but God kept showing up to take care of the bill. Unbeknownst to me, there were people who prayed for me, who supported me, and they pulled considerable amount of resources together to ensure that I get to finish my education. It was nothing short of a miracle, and I'm grateful. Truly, it was a beautiful manifestation of what a community is and what it can look like. It just felt like with every interaction that I had with people, God was timely leading me to exactly the right time and the right place and the right person. God had planted in my heart the desire for ministry as early as high school. I just didn't know the how, what, when, and where. So I kind of just did what I thought was best to pursue certain careers and just do ministry on the side. But now I realized that that was clearly not the purpose for me. So when these financial situations happened, I recognized that God was trying to get my attention. And I sensed that He wanted me to go all in. So I continued to pray and wrestle about this until two of my spiritual mentors sat me down over a meal. We had a conversation about my gifts, what they saw in me, and they asked me if I had considered pastoral ministry. I remember walking away from that restaurant feeling overwhelmed, just fully recognizing that God is up to something here and I'm on sacred ground. So after taking some time to discern in prayer, I knew I had to make a decision. In hindsight, I can see clearly how God was working in my heart and through the people in my community to prepare me for pastoral ministry. So I decided to stop asking God for following me and my plans and begin following Him instead. It was quite a memorable day for me because that's the same day when I changed my major without telling my family. But when I told them later on, they were very, very supportive. When I think of my story, I find myself drawn to and relating to Simon Peter's first encounter with Jesus in Luke chapter 5. When Peter recognizes what Jesus had just done, Jesus rocked Peter's boat. He got into his boat and they caught such a ridiculous amount of fish together. Peter can't help but to fall at Jesus' knees. I would have joined him. We're on sacred ground. What happens is quite beautiful. Jesus told Peter to not be afraid and was given a purpose and a cryptic future. The part that always baffles me is at the end of that story, Peter and his friends left everything and followed Jesus. I think a lot of times we have expectations in how God works. In my story, I have seen Him move and work in unexpected ways. Sometimes we tend to think that God works in these certain ways, like we expect an audible voice from Him. I didn't have any audible voice. I just felt a strong urge that God was stopping my track. God got my attention and He wanted me to go this direction, but He wanted to make sure that I was going all in. Peter could have said, Jesus, this is awesome. We could do this any day. Let's do this tomorrow. We could go fish again. You could tell us where to fish and we'd catch that much fish. But he didn't. He simply fell at Jesus' knees. because he recognized who he was. What I've come to realize is that the journey of following Jesus is nothing short of an adventure. You can expect it to be funny, surprising, scary at times. It's definitely not boring though. It's not always going to be pretty, but it would be fun and meaningful because on this journey with Jesus, we'll recognize that the best is yet to come. My name is Gatra Suhari, and this is my story.
I'm Pastor Tara Van Cross, and we're so glad that you've tuned into our Azure Hills Church YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, and click on the bell so that you'll be notified every time we share new videos. We are so glad that you're here. Until next time, please know that we're praying for you as you continue to be a voice of hope.